So let's talk about what this is, why it works, why it's so important, etc. Right. So it's starting from zero, right? Imagine you hired like an AI agent to wash your house, right? The old way would be like the agent walks around every 5 minutes, checking every room, even when nothing is happening, right? And that just wastes energy, wastes time. It's exhausting for everyone, right? The new way is that the AI agent will sit quietly and it only wakes up when the alarm goes off, right? And that's what the Claude Code monitor tool actually does, right? So the old problem was like, with AI tools, every time they think or you're using them actively, they cost tokens, right? And these are like thinking costs. So every time Claude checks, did anything break? Did anything break? Did anything break? Even when the answer is no, that still uses tokens, still expensive, right? So it's basically like, it's almost like paying someone to stare at a screen for 23 hours doing nothing, right? And that's why a monitor is so important. So the monitor tool, basically it lets Claude go to sleep. It only wakes up when something important happens, right? So let's say, for example, in a simplified way, this is how it works. So it sets a background watcher. The watcher listens for something specific, like an error or a crash or a new update. And when that happens, the watcher taps Claude on the shoulder, and basically Claude wakes up, fixes the problem, and goes back to sleep, right? Which means that you don't waste tokens, you don't waste energy, for example. And you can be a lot more efficient with how you use it. So it's kind of like, for example, notifications. If you think about your phone and your phone notifications, your phone doesn't check Twitter every 5 seconds manually, right? It just waits until Twitter sends a ping. And then your phone wakes up and shows you the notification. This is basically the same idea, but it's for AI agents. So you set a trigger condition, Claude goes to sleep, and the OS wakes it up when the condition fires. So the old way before was like Claude would check logs constantly. It would use up a lot of tokens. That gets expensive to run 24/7. And then it can slow you down as well. Are you using a lot of resources? Now, it waits silently in the background. It only activates when a real event happens. You get a massive reduction in costs and tokens, and then it can run in production pipelines in a more efficient way. So what could you actually use this for? Well, some examples, right? If you're building with Claude, for example, you could tell Claude, like, watch my app and fix any errors that show up, right? And then it sets a watcher, goes quiet, and it just wakes up when any errors appear, right? Or, for example, pull request monitoring. So let's say, for example, when a developer wants to add new code to a project, Claude can watch for pull requests and then automatically review or act on them, right, as a watch. It could also log file tracking. So it could check log files, which are kind of like a diary. Your app writes about what it's doing, and Claude can watch the diary and only react when something bad gets written in it. And then also server watching as well. If you're running a live website or an app, Claude can monitor it and then alert you or fix things the moment it breaks. So this is really important for a lot of different agents because, you got tools like OpenClaw, you got stuff